It's a very big day in the spiritual world because we had a giant eclipse today because of the new moon, a solar eclipse. If you saw everything go dark this morning, that's what was happening. And the energy of that is always rebirth, renewal, new chances, fresh starts. And isn't it a wonderful thing that we as human beings on the earth, we get so many fresh starts? I think that is such an important thing for us to remember, that every time is not the time. We do get a chance to have a renewal, right? Every moon cycle, every month, every new year, every new, if you're a Jewish person, right? Yom Kippur. If you're and Rosh Hashanah, the holy days. If you are a Christian person, sometimes people start with Christmas, or what my Italian friend calls actual Christmas, which is Epiphany on January 6th. Our birthdays are the start of a new year. For me, being a Celtic person, Samhain, Irish New Year, November 1st is the beginning of a new year. We just keep getting more chances to fix it, to move forward, to better ourselves, to be happier in life, to be healthier in life. And that is what God wants for us. And it's so important that we know that that is what God wants for us. God doesn't want to be unhappy or lacking or feeling like we're not enough or feeling like we're less than or incapable of. We are here, and the point of us being here is to have a wonderful life. And the point of us being here is also to learn. And with that learning sometimes comes obstacles, right? Comes challenges. But we are here to be our best selves. And Spirit wants us to know that we always get a break. We always get an out. And the break that we get, the form that the break comes in, is, hey, guess what? Rebirth, renewal, another chance. It's time to recycle and start again. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this and why I started out with this in just a minute. First, I want to make sure you know where you are. You're at Founders Metropolitan Community Church, the Founders Church of the Metropolitan Community Church denomination. I'm Reverend Sheena Metal. I'm the interfaith pastor, and this is Saturday Night Spiritual, the second Saturday of every month. This is a universal, light-based, love-filled service for everyone, what my mama used to call a y'all come church, and this is Saturday Night Spiritual's resident and smallest deacon, Brother Cullen, who always seems to be here with me. I hadn't even turned the camera on today. All I did was sit in the chair, and he thought snuggle time had begun. He is such a healer and such a support and a lover of people. So sometimes I like to have him here when he wants to be, so that you can be reminded that there is always hope and another chance. Because this little guy saved me during COVID, and now we just love and take care of each other. He's an Easter Sunday baby for those who love Easter. April 4th, 2021 is his birthday. Isn't that right, special guy? What does a universal, light-based, love-filled service mean? What do I talk about when I say that? Well, it means a lot of things. Most importantly, it means this is for everyone. If you walk in the light, and by walking in the light, I mean that you bat for the team of good. You're on God's team. Now that doesn't mean you have to be a certain religion, or you have to believe a certain thing, or you have to have any religion at all. It just means you're on the side of light. You're just saying no to darkness and just saying yes to the light. Then you belong here. Every month during the service, and hopefully we accumulate more and more. We're just gathering folks that believe in love, that believe in light, that believe in peace, that believe in kindness, that believe in the fact that we are all one human family, and believe in unity, that someday we as human beings will become much more unified than we are today, that believe in always keeping your vibration high and working to raise the vibration of those around you, to love and embrace all of the creatures of the earth, like our dear brother Cullen, and just to know that you're loved and that you yourself are the embodiment of love. If you acknowledge all of these things, or you believe them and you're getting there, then you know that that is what this service is about, and it's for you. I know sometimes people don't like the idea that I always say everyone is interfaith, because some people are like, but I'm not, because I'm devoutly Christian. I'm like, oh no, you're still interfaith. You're just the Christian pie piece. If you believe that there are people on the earth who are Jewish and agnostic and atheist and Buddhist and Scientologists and Mormons and Hindu and Muslim and every other thing in the world you can imagine, then you are interfaith, because you're acknowledging there is a pie, and the pie is everyone. And then you're also acknowledging that your slice is what you believe in. That's what you take when you go to the spiritual salad bar. Those are the items that you put on your plate, and the things that you believe in, and the things that you love. And that is all very, very beautiful and very, very important. But still, you acknowledge that there is a thing, and that thing is called interfaith. And interfaith means that everybody is welcome. Like my mama used to say, a y'all come church, right? Y'all come. Y'all come back now, you hear? That is such an important thing. Sorry, Brother Cullen was trying to eat Ganesh. So those of us who love Ganesh, the Hindu deity, the remover of obstacles, we know that if you want to remove the obstacles in your life, the number one rule is you don't put Ganesh in your mouth. So we had to put that in a drawer. Interfaith is what the earth is. It is just, it's like the queer spectrum, right? This might not be a popular opinion, but I think that straight people, I guess our allied friends are the straight people, should definitely be represented on the queer spectrum, because everybody should be on the spectrum. And then those that are not something, well, those are people that need to be on that side of the spectrum. We are all a mixture of gay and straight and divine masculine and divine feminine, and we're all liberal and conservative in some ways at the same time. And it's where we fall on that spectrum. And part of that spectrum is you can be 100% one thing, or you can be 100% anything. So consider interfaith the spectrum of spirituality. It's the whole thing. And then where you fall, that's where you are. That's your personal place on the spectrum. So these are things to think about, and these are things to remember. And these are important things in acknowledging what interfaith spirituality is and where you fall on that spectrum. And maybe that's something you could do between now and next month's Saturday Night Spiritual, is you could ask yourself, where do I fall on the spectrum? Where do I fall on the interfaith spectrum? And start thinking about what your spirituality looks like. And that means not just what church do I go to, but what do I believe in? Because maybe you believe in some different stuff. Maybe you are a Christian, but you believe in reincarnation. Or you're Jewish, but you're a big fan of Jesus. Jesus was a fantastic Jewish person, right? They're all different ways that you can represent your interfaith spirituality and be okay. And still be what you are, and still call yourself what you are. And be happy being those things. So important. And it's such a important thing. And I think it strengthens what we believe spiritually, our own personal faith, to acknowledge the faith of those others around us. I think to act as if our faith is the only faith, that is something that just makes us weaker. Excuse me, I've never done this during a service. Excuse me. I was about to lose our feed, and I had to reset my router. So that's what happens when you do it online, folks. So think about that when you think about interfaith spirituality. Think about the whole. And then where do you fall in the whole? And doesn't that make what you believe even stronger? And isn't that beautiful? When I first came out of the interfaith closet, I'm not even sure that I 100% grasped what interfaith spirituality was. I thought it just meant like being pansexual, which I also am. I thought it was the pansexual of spirituality, that it meant like, oh, well, whatever anybody's doing, I'm in. And that is true. I am like that spiritually. I do believe whatever anybody's doing, I'm in. But because I love to go to synagogue, I love to go to Catholic Mass, I love to go to church with all different of my denominational Protestant friends, of course, love to be at an MCC service, have many Mormon friends, and have gone to Mormon temple and or Mormon meetings, like Bible studies, and have loved it. I like to go everywhere with everybody, Buddhist temple, and experience everything. But it wasn't until I started doing this service and became not just a fan of interfaith spirituality, but also somebody who preached it, so to speak, I started thinking about the fact that it's not just something you identify as, and it's not just something that you're into. It's something that just is. It's an is. And you don't have to be every part of it. You don't have to be like a pansexual person for spirituality. But you do have to acknowledge it's there. And then you have to figure out what your place is. And it's okay for your place to be multi-dimensional. Like let's say you go to a buffet and you want spaghetti. So you get spaghetti, you get meatballs, you get meat sauce, you get a thing of Parmesan cheese, you get garlic bread. But then you think, you know what? I'd also like the egg rolls. So you go over to the part of the hometown buffet or wherever you are that has the Asian dishes, and you get some egg rolls, and you're like, I would like a crab rangoon. And then you get a couple of those. So you sit down at your plate, which is mostly Italian food, but it's got some Asian food. That's what interfaith spirituality is. You can be devoutly something, but still like other things and enjoy them. You can like crystals. You can like I said earlier, reincarnation. You can believe in, you can like to light candles at Hanukkah. You don't have to be Jewish to do that. You don't have to be anything to love something. And then you decide how you want to identify, just like with sexuality, just like with gender. We have the right to identify what we are spiritually. And then we also have a reason to identify as all the things that we love that don't have to necessarily be part of our identity. If you like to meditate, you don't have to call yourself a Buddhist Christian. You can still call yourself a Christian. You can even say, I'm a practicing Christian, but then you just meditate when you want. That is what spirit, which is what I call God, spirit. That is what spirit, God, Goddess, great spirit, higher power, universe, source. This is what it wants for you. What they want is for you to build your spiritual palette in any way you want and identify any way you want. And feel good about that. It doesn't take away from who you are. And it doesn't take away from how you're raised. And it doesn't take away from your community in the church. Whatever church it is or temple it is, it doesn't take away from anything. It only makes it better. And that's the beautiful thing, I think, about interfaith spirituality. So, let's talk about this really quick. If you would like to donate to us, and I love that, donate and make sure you tell them you love Saturday Night Spiritual. FoundersMCC.org. You can find all the places to donate, including texting. And there's all different ways. And make sure that you texting is the easiest, actually, 77977. If you text your donation to 77977 and say it's for Saturday Night Spiritual. This church does so much great stuff. And our Sunday services, our English speaking service and our Spanish speaking service in the afternoon are wonderful. Then there's outreach, there's other things happening, there's this once a month. It's such a beautiful place to be involved in, and I'm so honored to be a part of this church and to be a part of everything that is happening. And we just celebrated another landmark, 55 years, and 55 years. I think, wait a minute, it's 1 year younger than me. So yeah. And going strong, right? Started with a handful of people in Troy Perry's living room, and now hundreds of churches all over the world, and based on love and based on faith and based on you deciding who you want to be spiritually and you making the decision for you. Okay? Okay. All right, good. So earlier I was talking about the eclipse. I love eclipses. I'm fascinated by them. The eclipse and the new moon, which every month the new moon brings rebirth and new chances. And of course, October's a month we love to get scared, right? So I always talk a little bit about fear, even though there's a difference in watching a scary movie and having fear. I'm not a fan of fear. I think fear is a disease that eats human beings alive. So many bad things in our lives have been done in the face of fear, and I am not a fan of fear. So I was watching a TV show the other day, a new show I just started, I really liked, and there was a scene where the lead female character was sitting on a patio talking to a neighbor. And either the neighbor asked or she mentioned what her biggest fear was. And the neighbor said to her, "My worst fear is falling into the places I've crawled myself out of." And I literally stopped, rewound, watched again, wrote it down, saved it to bring here to you tonight. My worst fear is falling into the places I've crawled myself out of. And isn't that true? And that's why I bring up the fresh starts and the renewals and the anniversaries where we get more chances, and the new moon cycle every month where you can have renewal. We as human beings, we harbor so much fear that we're fearful that we're going to fall back into things we've even grown past. It's one thing that we've grown past something. Now we're terrified we're going to fall back in. So even if we improve, even if we grow, even if we conquer a spiritual obstacle, an emotional obstacle, a physiological obstacle, so many of us spend so much time then terrified we're going to mess it up again. And the problem with this is you never enjoy your life. Your entire life is spent in a state of panic. And that's what I was saying earlier about spirit. Yes, we're here to learn lessons. Yes, we're here to overcome obstacles. Yes, Earth is a teaching planet. Yes, things are hard. But they're also beautiful. And we are here to really revel in that beauty, to be exalted by the beauty and the grace and the loveliness and the lusciousness of what Earth is, of what it feels like to be in a human body. Sure, does it hurt sometimes? Yeah, I think my body hurts all the time now. I've just gotten past the fact where I even think it's not going to. But boy, it also is great, right? It can smell the fall, and it can taste food, and it can laugh, and that warm feeling you get in your belly when you really love someone. So today, it's been cool enough that I opened up windows. I didn't have to run the air. And I opened up the bathroom window, and Brother Colin loves to go sit in that window because it's high and he can jump up there, and it's small. And the half of the window that has the screen is about the size of him. And he sits on that ledge, and this breeze is blowing in the window, and his little face is like, oh, that's it. Just the autumn breeze blowing on his face. That's all he needed to complete his life. That was it. Just the breeze blowing on his face. That's enough for him. That is the beauty that so many animals that aren't humans, they just enjoy the simple things. Today, I'm loved. My mommy petted my feet while an autumn breeze blew on my face. And that's enough. And I don't think that he sits and thinks, what if the window gets closed? What if mommy stops petting my feet? Because he knows to be in the moment, to revel in the isness, and to just be thankful for what's happening at that moment. We need so much more of that. It takes so much to crawl yourself out of those dark places. Why fill yourself with fear? Because fear is its own kind of darkness. Worrying that you're going to fall back in. Why? You know? It's an exercise in futility to constantly overcome your challenges and then live in fear the entire time they're going to come back. So I remember once when I was in my early 30s, reading sort of a month apart about two celebrities that had sort of breakdowns, one a very famous actor and one a very famous musician. And both of the things they had written were pretty much the same, that their entire lives they were consumed with this fear that they were never going to make it. But then when they made it, all they were all the time was consumed with this fear that they were going to lose it, that they had it and now they were going to lose it. So now we're going back to what I was talking about Spirit wanting you so much to enjoy your life. Yes, the challenges. Yes, the obstacles. Yes, the teaching planet. I will always remind you of that. But what about all the wonderful things that feel so good, right? What about watching your favorite movie? What about eating your favorite meal? What about hugging a friend? What about being intimate with your romantic partner? You know, what about laughing until you literally cannot breathe? Till you literally cannot breathe. And you think you're going to stop breathing because you're laughing so hard. What about the warmth you get in your belly when you look into the eyes of somebody that you love? And I don't just mean romantic love. I mean friends, family, chosen family. You know, what about listening to your favorite song? We're supposed to enjoy all these things. So here you work your whole life to get a certain thing. In the case of these two people, it was success in the entertainment world. But then you get it, and instead of exhale, it's, oh my God, now there's more panic. There's a bigger vice grip around my heart because now I can't stop thinking about what it would be like to lose it. I'm going to cry. And I've been that person, thinking I'd never get it, so scared to lose it. That was my 30s. And that's why when I read these articles, I think I was just a little bit shy of 35 when I read these articles. And 35 is kind of a big time in your adult life where you're thinking, God, I really should have it all figured out by now, but I kind of don't. And I thought, well, so even if I get these things that I've wanted my whole life, then I'm just going to worry that I'm going to lose them? And that's how I was. I mean, I was probably in my early 50s before I stopped panicking about losing things, losing opportunities, losing gigs. And it's kind of how Earth culturalizes us, right? To believe that we have to get, and don't lose it. That's kind of what earthbound life is like. I mean, how many shows, how many motivational speeches, how many things on the news, how many things you've gone through in school are just that, right? You got to get it. Oh, you got it. Don't lose it. And I think we think that about our marriages, our primary relationships, our friendships. I remember somebody said to me once, because I'm also a psychic medium, during one of my psychic lives on social media, and I was talking about how you have to let go of people that aren't serving you. And she texted me a little note to read on the live, and she said, but if I get rid of everybody in my life that's like that, I won't have anybody left. So here this person was consciously acknowledging that she was keeping people in her life that were not good and not good for her because of the fear of the loss. And I know I talk about fear in many different ways, and there have been a few Saturday Night Spirituals where there's been a sermon about fear. But we've never talked about that quote that I read to you. The fear of the backslide. Right? The fear that any day now, all the demons that I've outrun are going to come back for me. And we talk about in the spiritual world manifestation, right? Manifesting those demons. Because the more you think about something, and this is an energetic thing, this is spiritual physics. The more you ruminate on something, the more energy you put into something, the more you draw it to you. Have you ever been in a room with somebody that you didn't want to see at a party? You walk into a party and, oh my God, she's here. Or you're on the street and you see somebody that looks scary and you think, oh my God, I don't want that person to pay attention to me. But you're looking at them, even though they're not looking at you. And you're thinking about it, and all of a sudden they turn around and they look right in your eyes. Well, yeah, because you were manifesting it. It was like a magnet. And they were thinking, God, the back of my head itches. Who is looking at me? And they turn around and they're like, oh, it's you. That's what it's like. If you are constantly ruminating on how everything in your life that you've worked so hard to fix is going to fall apart. Oh my God, it's all going to fall apart. Do not fear the backslide. Do not allow fear to pull you back into the things that you have worked so hard to overcome. Please believe that it's not coming back. Now, does that mean I'm an alcoholic? I'm in recovery, for example. I'm not an alcoholic and I'm not in recovery, but I am a chocoholic and I am currently in recovery because not good for my body. Do I see a commercial for Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and think, have I had my last Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? Will there be a day when I can have a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? Do I just write it all off and tell myself never again? Might there be one someday? For now, there's not. How many days am I? 32 days off of sugar. That's a big thing for me. 32 minutes off of sugar. It used to be a big thing for me. It's normal. It's normal to think, can I keep it up? Can I go my whole life without it? Halloween is coming. My two best friends are sugaraholics. There's treats everywhere. Am I going to fall into it? Normal to ask the questions. It is normal to say, sometimes I wonder if I'm going to fall back into places I've crawled myself out of. But to fear that, to ruminate on that, to constantly be obsessing about, is today the day that I'm going to screw up and eat the Reese's peanut butter cup, well, for God's sakes, you might as well just have the Reese's peanut butter cup, because you're filling your body with more toxicity than a peanut butter cup could ever cause by constantly asking over and over and over again, am I going to backslide? Am I going to screw up? Am I going to go back to that place? Am I going to undo all the good work that I've done? When Spirit talks about your spiritual path, and every time Spirit has shown me what a spiritual path is, not just for me, for others as well, for my clients and for people that have been in my workshops or here in my sermons and services, they never show me reverse. They never show me anyone walking backwards on their path. They only show me walking forwards and sitting down and not moving. In the realm of spirit, there is no backslide. There is no backward movement. There's only you're moving forward or you're stopped or you're stunted. But there is not backsliding. Backsliding, messing everything up, going backwards, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. These are human concepts. These are not God-based these are not concepts that come from God. There is no, oh, you really backslid, kid, didn't you? That's not something that God would say to you. We put that pressure on ourselves. As far as the spiritual realm goes, you're either moving forward or you're not. But you're not moving backwards. You're not backsliding. So to fear that, and to fear that so much that you bring that into action, is actually counterintuitive, not only to yourself and your own life and your own spiritual path, but it's to anything that Spirit would tell you about moving forward. Because with universe, everything moves forward, right? No matter what we do in our lives, we get older every day. So literally we're dying from the day we're born, because we only have so many days here, and every day we're racking one up. Sometimes I look around at my life and I think, how in the heck did I get to become 56 and a half years old? I don't even know how it happened. It seems like just yesterday I was buying my house and I was 23. And before that, it seemed like just yesterday I was, getting my braces on and I was 6. I have no idea how any of it happened. But it's happened because here I am, and I feel it every time my neck creaks. Every day we get older. Every day the earth turns. Every day the earth revolves around the sun. These are not anything that changes. Every single year, there is a January, there's an April, there's an August, there's a December. Spirit only knows forward movement. And Spirit, God, is rooting for us, like I said at the very beginning of the service, rooting for us to do great and move forward and enjoy our lives. Today was a great day, and then you got to have pie. Today was a super successful, prosperous day, and then somebody kissed you. These are the things that Spirit wants, not, not, oh, we hope you fail. God's never like, we hope you fail. Never once in any biblical book of any kind, any religion's Bible, so to speak, is there a passage where higher power says, gee, I hope you fail. Ha ha, you backslid. It doesn't exist. It's not a concept that exists. Only forward movement. Or, by your own free will, you're not moving forward. So let's take the fear that doesn't exist around the idea that you could screw up things that you've worked so hard to change and better in your life, that you've worked so hard to stand yourself up and start walking forward on your path again. Why are you trying to knock yourself down? Why are you putting fear there that doesn't belong there? Is it a possibility? Could you screw it up? Sure. Could you fall back into bad patterns? Sure. Could I eat a peanut butter cup? There's one in my cabinet. Could I go eat it right after this? Could I stop right now and leave you guys and go eat that peanut butter cup? Sure. Am I going to? Not today, Satan, not today. Is it possible every day we could do it? Yes. Is it also possible I could say, yay, I didn't eat the peanut butter cup and go out to check my mail and get hit by a bus? Yes. Every scenario is possible, including right in the middle of this service, I could drop dead from a brain aneurysm. But why focus on that? Why worry about those things? Keeping yourself in check. Hey, remember today, we're not eating Reese's peanut butter cups. Okay. It's good to keep yourself in check. Today I've been sober for however many years. I'm going to stay sober. Keep yourself in check. But not the fear and the rumination on everything that could happen to you that is not good. Because all it does, all that fear does, it pulls you in on yourself, and then you collapse down and sit on your path. And you're not moving. I have a friend that grew up in Africa, and he used to tell me this funny story that sometimes you'd be going to work and there'd just be one road to get to work, right? And an elephant would walk into the road and sit down. And that was it. You couldn't go anywhere. And you show up to work 2.5, 3 hours late, and people would look at you and you'd say, an elephant sat in the road. And everybody would be like, oh yeah, because it happened to everybody. When I talk to people and I coach people about spiritual path, about life path clarification and how to optimize your life path and your spiritual path, I always think about that. I always think about the elephant sitting in the road and just refusing to get up for 2.5 hours. Because that's how we are, right? We are obstinate. We will sit there and nobody, not even God, can make us get up because we're given free will on this planet. We will sit on our path and we will not move forward. And no matter how many cars honk at us or how many people go, hey, elephant, get up. We don't. We sit until we're ready, and sometimes a lot longer than 2.5 hours. And we just won't move forward. And fear is the number one factor that stops us from moving forward. Fear. And sometimes the fear that we don't succeed, or we won't get healthy, or we'll never find love, or we'll never like ourselves, we'll never get it right. Sometimes that fear is the thing that stops us on our path. The old expression, right? There is nothing to fear but fear itself. It's true. Fear is the biggest thing to fear. And if we spend all of our time, like that quote, fearing that we will fall back into the places that we've crawled ourselves out of, then we might, just because we're fearing it. And wouldn't that be a shame? And a waste of all the hard work we've done to get our stuff together. So if you are walking your path and you find yourself fearful, keep walking. Keep moving. Because eventually the fear will subside. And then you'll be moving closer to where you were always meant to be. It's so important that we continue to move forward and that we don't allow fear to eat us up. It happened to me this morning. I woke up this morning and I had a weird sound in my ear. It sounded like the cat's water fountain. So I unplugged the cat's water fountain. It was not the cat's water fountain, and it was only in this ear. And then when I got up and started moving around, it was kind of like this zzz, zzz, zzz. So of course I looked it up on the internet. Oh my goodness, noise in your ear. The pulsating kind is the worst. 50 million things that cause it. None of them were good. And in a little while, I stretched my neck out a little bit. And in a little while, it went away. But it was hours of worrying about it. And I couldn't even tell if it was still happening because I had the air conditioning on in the car. I had the radio on in the car. Once I stopped everything, it was still there. The second time I stopped everything, it was gone. 5 times today I've done this. No, it's not there. I'll probably do that for the next 2 weeks. And I'll spend all that time that I could be spending doing something else, worrying if this thing would come back. Right? So I'm on the phone with my girlfriend. And I say, oh my God, this happened this morning and I had a panic attack. And I'm laughing because what would have been tragic when I was 16, now I just laugh. And she says to me, oh, that happens to me all the time. I don't even worry about it. I'm like, with the pulsing? Yeah, I don't even worry about it. It comes and it goes. That's my fear. My fear made it a big deal, right? And I could have done something with that couple hours this morning other than be fearful. I could have called a friend in the car. My fear took that time away from me. My fear of getting into a place of becoming unhealthy again, because I've been there so many times in the past, and just this last summer had a lot of health problems, and I'm so worried those health problems are going to come back. My fear did that. This went away. I probably just cricked my neck. And now I'm hearing a buzzing noise, and I have to remember, oh yeah, there's a 60-year lamp in front of me, and it buzzes all the time because it's old. It's so, and I hear them like, what's that noise? Oh, it's the arm of the lucky cat. But for a few weeks, I'm going to be like, what a waste. We all do it, even I do it. When you have gotten your stuff together, be thankful. Pat yourself on the back. Be happy for all the changes that you have made. And don't spend all of your time worrying that you're going to fall back into those places. Instead, start thinking about what's the next thing? What is the next thing that I can conquer? What is the next thing that I can do that's going to be wonderful? What's the next area of my life that I'm going to get my stuff in a group? Okay? All right, I'm the Reverend Sheena Metal. This is Saturday Night Spiritual. Please send us a donation if you'd like by texting 77977 and write Saturday Night Spiritual, or visit foundersmcc.org. Also, we have a community page here at SaturdayNightSpiritual.com. And I have a page with past services on it, an archive page. It's RevSheena.FoundersMCC.com. It just has the date, what the service, what the sermon was, and a link for you to click on. Please enjoy that. My website is SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. I'm very accessible. Send me a text message or an email if you want to talk. It's really okay to text me, 818-437-0886. I'm always here. If you get scared or you feel weird, it's okay to reach out to me. It's part of my ministry. And I'm everywhere on social media at Sheena Metal. And you can find Founders MCC. We have a very active and wonderful Facebook page. And we have a very active and wonderful YouTube page. And also an Instagram. So go and find us. And go find the wonderful things that happen. My service right now is just online, but the Sunday services are in person and also online. So wherever you are in the world, you can enjoy them. I thank Founders MCC for having me here every month, and our senior pastor, Keith Mazingo, who is so wonderful, and our Spanish-speaking ministries pastor, Reverend Alejandro Scoto, both lovely humans who are like my mentors, my spiritual mentors, and all of the pastors that I love so much here at Founders. And thanks to Spirit for creating us all. Shout out to Spirit for making such a beautiful world. And to you all for watching and for making this so much fun every month. I'm so thankful to you. Until I see you next time, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and know that you are loved and you are loved and you're so loved by me. And I always end with a poem, so I'm going to do one right now. A poem for you, my friends. Not mine, one I found on the internet. This is called Don't Quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, and every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure comes about when you might have won had you stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell just how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. And when things seem worse, that's when you must not quit. Saturday Night Spiritual, I'm Reverend Sheena Metal. I love you all. Don't quit. Keep going. Keep walking your path. And don't give in to worrying that the fear that you're going to fall back into the places you've crawled yourself out of. Keep crawling. You got this. And I'm here with you 100%. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next month. Second Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific.